Now, to begin today's video, we actually pick up with Lex Luthor. Now, when it comes to Lex Luthor at this point in the New 52, he is in prison. We saw that in one of our earlier Superman New 52 videos. But with that being said though, with him being in prison, he's in a prison that he had made because there are no other prisons that can actually hold him because how smart he is. And so he had to make a prison that can actually hold him. Now with him being in prison, he is allowed to have 5 to 10 minutes outside, but of course he must stay in some kind of cage and watched by dozens of guards to make sure that he does not try anything. Now the problem is though, they have no idea what is going on inside his body. What I mean is, and this is very weird and very strange to say, but apparently he did some modifications to his body or his genetics where that anytime he's outside and there is some energy coming from the sun, he is able to communicate with other people on his team to talk about different plans he has in his mind. So right now, with him just sitting there in the sun, absorbing the energy from the sun, he is able to communicate with other people on his team, kind of like telepathically, but with his genetics being altered or being hit with sun energy. It's really hard to explain, but honestly, it's kind of cool, but very strange at the same time. Now, his new plan basically involves Supergirl. But then we pick up with Supergirl. Now, at the end of the Hell on Earth event, the event we just covered last month, we saw Supergirl being able to actually defeat Hell. But when she did, she got kryptonite poisoning. And that poisoning is a huge problem because at the end of the video, you had Superman pick her up and just fly away, leaving us wondering how in the world is he going to be able to actually save her. And that kryptonite poisoning is going to play a big role in this storyline right here. But either way, Superman basically took her to a space station that is near the sun. Because remember, when it comes to Kryptonians, they get their powers from the sun. And so it's kind of them thinking that maybe, just maybe, if she absorbed enough solar energy, it could help her defeat the kryptonite poisoning that's in her body. And so that is where she's at the moment. But then we get reminded about another character, and that character is Dr. Veritas. And I really know I just butchered her name, but we actually first met her back in the beginning of our Hell on Earth storyline, back in Superman number 13, I want to say. And she has a facility known as the Block that is right near the core of the Earth. But with that being said though, she is an amazing scientist and she has been studying Kryptonians for a good period of time, especially Superman. And so with Supergirl having that kryptonite poisoning in her body, is her trying to help Supergirl get better. Now, the problem with Supergirl in the New 52 is that she does not listen to anybody. She's very dismissive. She wants to do what she wants to do. Her anger is always out of control. And so with that being said though, when it comes to Dr. Veritas telling her you need to come down to the Block to get more testing because I still think that kryptonite poisoning in your body is affecting you in different ways, you have Supergirl kind of tell her no at first because again, Supergirl doesn't want to listen to anybody. She thinks that she knows everything. She thinks she can handle everything, but in reality, she can't. Now, getting back over to Lex Luthor and his weird team that he had made of different characters that we are not going to meet again at all, Alafina, the female on the team, was basically tasked to watch over Supergirl, to track her, to see how fast she moves, to see where she goes, to learn more about her. Because right now, Lex Luthor wants to know everything about Supergirl like he wants to know everything about Superman. But getting back over to Supergirl, you do see Supergirl go over to the block facility to go see Dr. Veritas. Now, when she gets there, of course, like I said earlier, Supergirl is very dismissive. She does not want to listen to anybody except herself. And so with that being said, you actually have Supergirl tell Dr. Veritas that she no longer needs her help and she just flies away. And of course, that means if Supergirl is not completely healed, that kryptonite poison could technically do more damage down the road. But then we pick up with a character known as Karen Starr. Now, Karen Starr is a very interesting character because if you weren't following Earth 2 back in the New 52 era of DC Comics, you might not know who she is. And she actually appeared in other books as well. But again, if you weren't reading everything DC, you might not know who she is. But she's going to be very important for this storyline down the road. But of course, when Karen Starr does see Supergirl on TV, her assistant tells Karen that, hey, listen, Supergirl looks just like you, just a tad bit younger. What in the world is going on? But of course, when Karen Starr does see Supergirl, well, that is the moment Karen Starr begins to feel somewhat sick. Now, picking up with Supergirl, we do see Supergirl leaving the block facility. And again, remember, the block facility is located near the core of the Earth, which means she has to leave the area of the core to get back to the surface. That is why you're seeing right now a bunch of lava around her. But that is when she is confronted by a character we actually saw back in one of our earlier Superboy videos. Now, with this character appearing, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have no idea what her name is and what her deal is because I've been doing a lot of research and I can't find any information about her. And maybe I'm not looking in the right areas, but if you can locate this chick's name and what her story is, please let me know in the comments below. But either way, we saw her in our Superboy video, and in that video, she was basically one of the many people who was kidnapped by Nowhere, that evil organization we have seen in our Teen Titans and Superboy videos. But of course, she was able to escape, and here she is right now, fighting against Supergirl. Now, while fighting against Supergirl, she does mention how she hates Kryptonians. And so that right there does give us some more information about her. But at the same time, we kind of learned that already when she fought against Superboy. But either way though, while they're fighting against each other, their battle does go on to the point it's basically a draw, kind of. But Supergirl is knocked out. But of course, our lava friend is able to escape and go back down into the earth. But here comes the problem though. A random military organization appears and they are able to grab Supergirl. Now, the reason why Supergirl lost that battle to that lava chick is because that kryptonite poisoning in her body. Even though Supergirl did tell Dr. Veritas that she feels better, she did. But that kryptonite poison came right back in her system and she began to lose her power slowly. And so that is why she lost the battle, technically to me, to the lava chick. And now she's knocked out and being taken away by this military force. But getting back over to Karen Starr, we see that Karen Starr is in some kind of meeting at the moment. But while she's in that meeting, well, that is the moment she begins to feel somewhat sick, and she has no idea why. But of course, that is when her nose begins to bleed and she passes out. And this is the book kind of telling us that there could be a connection between Karen Starr and Supergirl, because it seems like right when Supergirl got sick again from the kryptonite poisoning, so did Karen Starr. And so both ladies are getting sick at the same time. And the question is, why? Now, when we jump into the next chapter, we actually pick up with this military force getting ready to transport Supergirl somewhere else. Now, we are left to believe that this could possibly be the American government. But of course, We have no idea. But either way, while they're getting ready to put Supergirl onto their plane and get the heck out of there before something else could happen, well, that is the moment you have one of the guards realize that something is coming. And with this something coming, it's about to get a whole lot worse for them and their job. And of course, the person that comes in and actually saves Supergirl is Karen Starr, because Karen Starr is better known as Powergirl. Powergirl is just a Supergirl from an alternate Earth. Matter of fact, Earth 2. That is why I say, if you have been reading everything in DC Comics, including Earth 2 comics, you would know that this is Powergirl from Earth 2 universe. But either way though, when she came here to this universe, apparently there is some kind of connection between her and our Earth 1 Supergirl, Kara. But either way though, you do have both Supergirls right now touch each other. And when they do, they both get bombarded with each other memories. And so it's kind of like getting a crash course about basically yourself from an alternate universe in about 10 to 15 seconds. But of course, they have to worry about each other later on because they have to fight against the military forces. Now, of course, they are able to actually deal with the military very easily. The person that gives them a challenge is actually Apex. Now, Apex is really just one of Lex Luthor guys who he has sent out there to fight against both Supergirls as a way to learn more about the Supergirls. Because again, when it comes to Lex Luthor, he really just wants to know everything about Kryptonians, especially Superman, but of course, right now, he wants to learn about Supergirl and what are her upper limits. And so that is why he sent out Apex. Now, you would think that with two Supergirls, Supergirl and Powergirl both being here, that Apex should easily be defeated. But let's not forget, the kryptonite poison that is in the body of our Supergirl, Earth 1 Supergirl, is affecting her. It's making her weak. At the same time, for some strange reason, it's also affecting Earth 2 Supergirl. And so right now, both ladies are being affected by this sickness while they're fighting against Apex. And so while this fight does go on for a few pages, you do have both Supergirls being able to just punch Apex right in the face to knock him out. But here comes the problem though, that kryptonite poisoning is in Earth 1 Supergirl's body, and so she passes out one more time, which of course does concern Karen Starr. And so you have Powergirl pick her up and try to take her somewhere that could possibly help her and heal her up. Now you do have Powergirl basically take Supergirl over to what is Supergirl's version of the Fortress of Solitude. Now, when they get there, you do have Supergirl kind of just lay there and get worked on by the fortress, while Powergirl walks around to find something to wear, because apparently her outfit got ruined while fighting against Apex. But while she is walking around, she does get her outfit, and this outfit is her iconic outfit that she had before the New 52. So technically, right at this moment right here, we are getting our Powergirl in the New 52 comics. But either way though, it does seem like Supergirl was healed up by the facility. But while you have both Supergirls talking to one another, and I just realized I just remembered the name of Supergirl's Fortress of Solitude, which is Sanctuary. But either way, while you have both Supergirl and Powergirl talking to one another, Supergirl's Fortress of Solitude, which the name is called Sanctuary, is right now freaking out. And the reason why it is freaking out is because it thinks that our Supergirl, the one we have been watching this whole time, is basically a clone, because it can't figure out why in the world there are two Supergirls here in this room at this moment. And it believes that our Supergirl is a clone. Now, when we get into the third chapter of this storyline, we actually see Supergirl and Powergirl arguing with one another. And the reason why they're arguing with one another is because Supergirl believes that Powergirl could be behind some kind of evil plan as a way to take her place and have Sanctuary be under her control. But of course, you have Powergirl try to tell Supergirl, why in the world would I do that to you? Because again, I just helped save your life. I brought you here to get you help because you were dying. Now for Supergirl, she's kind of not wrong here to think this. And the reason why, because remember, in the Hell on Earth event, in that crossover, she fell in love with Hell. And with her falling in love with Hell, to only end up trying to kill him to save the Earth, it's kind of hard for her to believe anyone else around her, especially when Hell had lied to her, gained her love, and just used her love as a way to have her help him to reach his goals in that storyline. And so for her, it's kind of like, listen, Powergirl, yes, you just helped me, but technically you are me from an alternate Earth, meaning that you could be here to try to replace me. We have no idea. But of course, we all know that Powergirl wouldn't do that in the first place. Now you do have Sanctuary begin to attack Supergirl from our Earth, and the reason why, because remember, Sanctuary is just Kryptonian technology. It was made by Kryptonians, and back on Krypton, clones were hated on, and the reason why, because when clones were made originally to help the people out on Krypton, they all turned evil and began to kill people across Krypton. So with that being said, when it comes to Supergirl, she understands why her Fortress of Solitude Sanctuary is trying to kill her, because it does have the mind of a Kryptonian. It remembers how clones were evil, and so right now it thinks that Supergirl is a clone. And we learned all of that back in our Superboy videos when Superboy first met Supergirl, where he learned how clones turn evil back on Krypton. And so with that, this technology really believes that our Supergirl is a clone, because it can't understand how in the world there are two different Supergirls here on this Earth at the same time. Now, it is very weird how Sanctuary believes that Earth 2 Supergirl is his Supergirl, or it's the main DC universe Supergirl, but the one that it actually met originally is the one that is a clone. But either way, you do have both Supergirls being able to work together to actually destroy this Fortress of Solitude, because they had no choice. They had to get rid of it. And so with that being said, it is officially gone. Now you do have Supergirl and Powergirl go up into space, and you do have them talk to one another. And when they do, they kind of realize that they need each other. They can help each other out. And so with that being said, it's really like Supergirl and Powergirl saying to one another, if you ever need me, I'll be there for you. Just call out for me. And so this technically does end the storyline. Well, not really. There is one more thing that could possibly happen in a later video. Because remember what I said just a moment ago, that Supergirl and Powergirl worked together to get rid of Sanctuary. They had no choice but to destroy it. But we come to find out it was not destroyed. In reality, it is still alive. And so with that being said, Sanctuary is now going to begin the process of actually hunting down Supergirl. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. Later, guys.